That's pretty funny, though, to be honest. All right. I'll get us started. What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the... Oh, my God. I stuttered and bit my tongue so hard just now.
Ooh.
All right. Let's take that again. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Best in Slot Radio Podcast, a podcast focused on Final Fantasy XIV, its game design and features, as well as how it stacks up to every other game on the market. With me, as always, is going to be Dtg and Nox. Say hi, boys.
What up?
Howdy how.
And I'm your host, Dtg. So we left you off right after the dead ends. We were calling it end days at the end of the podcast yesterday for the dungeon. It's
dead ends, end days, the final day.
It's the same shit.
It's all the same.
It's the same shit. However,
it's the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. So we go through the emotional cutscene dealing with
lighting way.
Dealing with Medion and kind of the last little, hey, this is the last gap you needed to break so you understand where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. Then we get treated to Xenos showing up out of nowhere. I to be honest, was not ready. Wait, what did I skip?
It's all so much more of a build up from there, because it's like we get to dead ends, Medion's like, fucking give up already, and it's like, no, we're here, we made it. This is our we got here, and then the hive mind shows up.
Like, you think we're gonna give up now? Like what?
Like 5 bajillion fucking little end times parrots. And
end time parrots. Nice.
And then we have a nice little Scion v Medion fight in a cinematic. And then the Warrior of Light finally gets to do their own little self-sacrifice moment and pushes the fucking smoking gun we talked about before. The Aetherite button. So the rest of the Scions get teleported back to the ship. We're 1v1ing Medion now. And as she's about to literally dump a planet on us, you know, because she's a baller like that, we start seeing literally like the sky break open.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's when fucking... of all people, Xeno shows up.
It caught me off guard because obviously we get treated to the scene in Charlian where Xenos just shows up and starts talking to Cryo. And we have no idea what's going to happen. In that moment, I immediately was not worried about anyone because Xenos has been so centered on us for so long. He doesn't give a fuck about Cryo and all them. It's not good prey to him, if you will. So I wasn't worried in that moment because I talked to a friend who was like, man, when Xeno showed up, I didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe he was going to lay waste. I'm like, nah, that's beneath him in his eyes, you know? Yeah. So that was a little interesting of a cutscene. But he shows up as a fucking dragon.
Fucking Shinryu.
And Witch Dragon. I was going to say Shinryu, like... That's no small thing. That's fucking badass.
That's an expansion and a half, basically, of like build up right there. Like, and dude, I was so pumped. I was to the moon. Like that right there. I was jumping.
We know
up.
you're Xenos fanboys.
I mean, fanboy's a strong term, you know.
What do you mean by this wee business?
Yeah, fair. We know Nox is a Xenos fanboy.
I think we know someone here is a fanboy.
Before we dive into him going and showing up as a dragon, one thing it's kind of not a tinfoil hat thing, but a little side thing. He gorged on the Mother Crystal to get to us. What kind of implications do you think that might potentially have later on down the line? Obviously, Hydalen's gone, so it's not really that big of a deal.
I don't think it's going to have any implications.
Okay.
We're going to get to it after we finish talking about Insinger, but I very much am in the camp of Xenos is done. We are never going to see Xenos again.
I agree, especially with how we left him at first. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was his last breath. I thought he was just so
Yeah.
exhausted that he was like, all right, I'm gonna take a nap. I'll
No,
see you guys in a bit.
we literally watched him die.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it took me a second watch to get to that, but yeah, I
I
was
hope
like,
that's the
oh,
case because I think that that was a very fitting end, but we'll talk about that when we hit that part. So he shows up as Shinryu, and he's got a very, very comical line. I do not want to butcher it. However, he says, "Is this your prey? I'm surprised they're still standing." Like basically, how could you guys this being is less than I am. Why are you guys struggling? Which I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think you understand that the world's about to end and this is the person doing it. But all right, cool, whatever, dude. Things are chill.
Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was very confusing at that. I also have to admit that it was 4:30 in the morning when I was doing this, so I might have been a little loopy.
I actually took it in a much different way. Like, I think Xenos is somebody to recognize power for, just power's sake.
Sure.
And it was more of like a kind of a pot shot at us, like, oh, someone's having a little hard time, huh?
Yeah. It felt really good. It was nice because he's been such a one-dimensional character for so long to just see have that like very faint but sarcastic humor felt really good. It made me go, all right, this dude's here for us right now. This is kind of sweet. So that was really nice. So he decides to take us with us. We see Endsinger essentially. What are we gonna call it? Digivolve? Like what happens there? All the Medions come together. I'm sorry, that's a deep reference. All the all the Medion hive mind come together and make Endsinger. Before we talk about the fight, is that one of your favorite like boss models you've ever seen?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like her and Heidelin both. It's
Yes.
such like it is almost exactly spot on in a mono art.
Yeah.
And I love his art style. So to see like both of them are just absolutely fantastic. I loved Endsinger. Endsinger may be my favorite trial ever.
Really? Okay.
I adored
It's a
going
great-
into
great
that
trial.
fight over and over and over again.
Yeah. It is a extremely fun trial. It is very difficult, and I cannot wait until we get the EX version in 6.1 because that's what we'll get, and it is not going to be easy. I think it took on the Aether data center. I think it took probably 2 or 3 days before consistent farm clear parties were popping up in Party Finder for Heidelin. I think it might be on par, if not longer, till we start seeing some of those like duty complete parties where people are just like, if you're not part of the 9 people that have cleared this before, you can't come. Like, all right, well, I guess no one's coming. What the fuck? But I think it was a great fight. I think that it had a combination of a lot of very interesting and surprisingly different mechanics. I don't know how you guys
Like Tank
felt about
LB3.
that. Yeah, like my group wiped on that because how would we know?
Yeah, I mean, how many? There's only one other trial in the game, I think, where LB3 is required.
Which one?
Shit, which one was it? It's not Sephiroth. I think it's one from Heaven's Word.
Thornton?
No,
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
think.
just guessing.
I don't think it's Thornton.
Okay.
I just know, like, when is the last time you saw a tank LB3?
It was
Other
in
than to
Savage content.
Yeah, like outside of Savage content.
Never. Not in
Yeah.
a trial, especially when we first get to it, kind of like not even an EX version.
Oh, that's right. It is the guy at the end of the raid, Alexander.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
when Alexander goes the big mech form, tank
Yeah.
has to LB3.
Yep.
That was the last time.
Yeah. I mean, so that Heaven's Ward, like that's fucking way different, or
Yep.
way long ago. Excuse me, not way different. Yeah. That I mean, I really liked that it was something different because like for 90% of raids, it's melee LB3. all the time. And the best one in context, like, it's so boring every single duty roulette we do. All that. If you're in Savage content, obviously you might have a healer LB3 every now and then, but like, oh man, it was very refreshing to see tanks just don't have to be meat shields. They can actually help and do something purposeful in the fight.
I love Endsinger. It's an amazing fight. It's so much fun. Super thematic.
Yes.
The music is amazing, and also after the tank LB3, the transition to the next phase is, oh my god.
Well, and speaking of that transition, the best mechanic of that fight is the two Earths colliding together. In my opinion.
The planets colliding to like cause that huge explosion, and then
love that.
Her undoing it to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely love that. It was such a unique mechanic. I struggled with it on our first pool, but we wiped on that one, so it didn't count. And it was extremely fun. Like, it was a very cool mechanic, which I'm really excited to see something more like that, because it's random, but not that random, and I like that. I don't know. It feels better from a design standpoint. Just kind of, I don't know how clean it felt for what it was. It's very easy to recognize once you know what the fuck you're looking for too.
It's like, okay, this is where they're colliding, and I see the order they're going in, and so
that's kind of the big call out. Once you know what you're looking for, it all becomes easy,
Which is kind of how it's how we felt on Savage last night. I mean, we're at Enrage, and it was just literally like, do we know what we're looking for? Okay, do it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many pulls did it take you guys to clear it?
3, because I messed up tank LB twice. So the first time we got to it, I'm like, oh well, that's a big planet. Wonder what's going on. And then I read the chat, tank LB, and I'm like, as the fucking planet is coming down,
it's
I'm like,
too late at that point.
It's like, what do you mean tank LB? And then the second time, because I have never used tank LB before, I fucking clicked it too early.
No, okay.
It was on my bar. It's like, okay, guys, now I got this.
Yeah,
and then I clicked it at the 10-second mark.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you were way early.
Yeah, because I didn't fucking know how long it lasted.
Oh, fuck.
And then the third time, it was like, okay, yeah, fine. We got this. They're like, you sure? And I'm like, I can click a button.
So. Nox, what about you? How long did it take you to get down?
I don't remember exactly the clear count, but it wasn't like I don't remember it being particularly annoying or anything. And I was clearing it as DPS on my machinist, so I'd say like anywhere between like 3, 5, maybe. I don't know, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, that's not well, and like, so it took us 3 as well. And one of the things that hit me in chat was how I felt. Someone else said it, and that was, I don't even care if we wipe all night. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I felt that in that moment.
The opening from the Shinryu fight, because Xenos is flying us in, and oh my god, that music is so good.
Oh, so good.
Because it's just a combination of the end like fights from multiple different expansions.
Yeah. What a way to say we're done.
Coming out soon.
Yeah, are you guys? I mean, this is one of the first soundtracks for video games. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this shit. Like, I want this. Yeah, I haven't played it yet. It's on the list. I've got. I've already talked to my brother about borrowing his PlayStation, because consoles. Come on, what are you guys doing, losers? Oh my goodness. Anyways, so we get through that fight, which is super cool, and I really like kind of the end of
the
it.
transition. Like, so obviously after the tank LB, it turns into it's a joke of a fight. Like on Extreme, it's definitely not gonna. That's not gonna happen. But like at it, what is it, like 50% or something like that? 40%.
It felt like 40.
Yeah. The meteor comes down. You LB it. She redoes the meteor because of fucking course she does.
Yeah.
And
Dick.
all of the Scions save us. They pull exactly the same move that happened in the A Realm Reborn cinematic. where they're praying, and we get a bubble above us, and then we just fucking cream Medion.
Which, I mean, I gotta say, after getting the taste of it from the Hydaelyn EX and being able to use trusts, I was extremely disappointed at first to not have them for Endsinger. However, somebody said something really smart, because someone else complained about it in the group, and they were like, yeah, but think about the impact you're going to have doing it with people that you don't know and experiencing the exact same moment with other humans. Which was pretty impactful for me, because I was like, holy shit, you're right. Like, we're all going to have a very visceral and very different experience in about 3.5 minutes. This is going to be interesting. I don't know. To me, that was really impactful and honestly made it better, it felt like, because I was able to close the gap with people who aren't necessarily friends, but, you know, like, how many dungeons have you done with people you'll never remember their name? Like,
I don't know if I'll ever have another experience where I went into Endsinger with a group full of tanks, because there was just no one else.
yeah. Yeah.
All of you Reaper Sage motherfuckers left us high and dry, and I'm in a group full of fucking warriors and paladins.
Did you guys kill it with all tank?
We got to 51 fucking %, and we called it because we didn't know about the phase change.
Oh, that's fucking brutal.
Oh, when I got there, I was so sad. I was like, oh, me and the boys could have done it.
Could have done it. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's the curse of being a tank. You're just so far ahead of everyone. Okay, so Scions come. And I really like that A, they stuck around, but B, we get to have that conversation with Medion right after. You know, and she's alone, but she's the blue version. No, she's black version. She asked to be our friend. And it was at that moment I was like, okay, blue version's kind of taking over again. And I wonder what that sets us up for in the future. Because she was a bird and she came back with us.
Yeah.
It'll be very, very interesting if she has any kind of role in the future. I don't know what that's going to be like.
Right. No, I agree. It would be nice if she does come back, because I very much enjoyed Medion as a character and I wanted to know more about her.
Okay, I'll agree.
I
want to be a bird person too, E. Just say it.
No, it's not that. Hard no, Nox. It's the same reason I was like grief stricken with the whole Alpha No Alizé thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate seeing shit happen to kids. Yeah. It fucking breaks my heart. So like watching what happened to Medion was terrible for me personally. I felt bad for her, not about her, I guess.
Sure.
So I was really happy to see her come back in a way.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to be in the sense of her ever becoming a character again.
Gotcha. Well, it'll be very interesting, because outside of the Scions and potentially anyone we decide to go into deep detail with, no one actually really knows that Medion's the enemy, or was the enemy in this situation. So she's essentially coming back to Atheris with a clean slate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was something that was on my mind. I was like, no one even knows this girl. Like, where does she go from here?
And I think as far as we're aware, the hive is gone. It's just the one Medion.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's a byproduct of like the good dousing the evil and like ousting all of her hivemind sisters. I don't know. They never really
I mean, we kind of like defeated Endsinger, so that could be it too. Like, it's just
that could
gone.
Be it. Yeah, because she did not join Endsinger, if I remember correctly. She was a bird telling Endsinger to stop while we were getting ready to fight her. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, it'll be extremely interesting to see, because they have Untold Story there, and she has, 10,000 years of...
something, plus. It's a lot.
Cumulative knowledge of other planets. Like, is she our guide to other stars?
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing that
would be really cool.
That's another thing we have to consider now, that Endsinger... So she had this something we didn't really touch on because we were trying to get into the Insinger fight, but her nest was a collection of souls that were trapped, and like that. So it's like the entirety of life outside of Atheris was almost non-existent,
right?
Because she took them.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let them be reborn. Her plan was that if life is pain, and if you keep coming back only to suffer again and again, then I'm going to make sure you can't ever come back.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you essentially into like a state of being that is never reborn, and
but your energy is still going to be consumed,
like a soul stasis of sorts.
Yeah. So
like The Witcher, the TV show, where they turn the failed witches into eels and throw them in the fucking pool as conduits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, when we defeat her, that's gone. Yep. They're all free again. They're going to start, life is going to start flourishing outside of Atheris again. So, I mean, eventually, yeah, we could go to other worlds and see other peoples.
Yeah. I'm excited.
The eel's free, man.
Well, not only that, but just the eels going on to other planets gives way for the art team to just be as creative as they want. Because there is no basis of reference. Essentially, when we leave this planet again, it's like they don't necessarily have to be humanoids. They don't have to look like anything we've ever seen before. Like, yes, the theory is that life is similar, but I mean, they could do anything they want. And that alone shows me longevity in the game.
Well, them planting the seed that they did with Omega to where they are, and then not alone like the tying the whole deal up from ARR with Heidelin to now, right? But like, oh man, it's there's a whole lot of like visible effort you can see based on the story and like how it like all ties together.
Yep.
And like with that whole thing wrapped up, she's like finally like redeemed and happy again. And she says, "Hey, follow me, and you'll go home to your friends.
I'll take you there."
And we watch the sun come up, and as we're about to leave, Mr. Xenos decides to have a word.
I love
Nox.
Oh yeah!
I love that it took us. For his character, in order to get the fight that he desperately wanted, the chance to prove his strength, he had to go to the edge of the universe. It's as poetic for him as it is for us in my eyes. And that was really big for me. It made me like the character more. Because I don't dislike, but I don't love Xenos' character. It was very flat for a very long time. And only started to develop recently in my eyes.
The conclusion, I kind of saw it as like how it really all pulled together was that like our inaction or disdain for his like, oh, let's duke it out, forced him to grow to actually be like a better person overall. Even if it did actually come to literally the end of the universe where it's like, damn, I need to help other people for like a growth to actually like understand that there's more to it, you know? And at that point in time, granted, again, it took to literally his dying breath and like the end of days for him to understand like, wow, okay, there is benefit to, you know, like sharing these things and having like emotions with other people and like having an actual friend, not just like how he was like jokingly realizing like how he referred to our friend before, you know, and like,
Is he a shard of Azim?
No. So the only shards of Azim that we have are from, there's one shard of Azim for every world, and technically on Atheris we are the main Azim. Yeah. I'm not even sure if he is like a fragmented being.
I don't think he is. I think
because he's like an artificially created fragmented being.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm I didn't know what the catalyst was to create life for how they did it for him. It's very, very interesting start, kind of boring middle for me, but very, very fun end. So the two dialogue options when you get in, he challenged you to the fight. First one's like, this shit ends here, and the second one's like, are we done yet?
Oh no, there is one more. I think the most popular option, which is that I can't deny, which
Yep,
is where
there you go.
you confirm to him that, you know what, yeah, I do like fighting for fighting's sake, and unfortunately I don't get that anymore because ever since I got out of A Realm Reborn, it's been nothing but world-ending threat since world-ending threat.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Xenos is the first kind of confrontation we have, like literally here at the end of everything. Xenos is the one and only confrontation we have had since A Realm Reborn where it is not like the world is at stake or a
Right.
country is at stake. It's like, hey, you are an adventurer, you love fighting, and that's why you started being an adventurer. Let's just fight for the sake of a fight.
Yep.
And leave it all on the table. Which was he basically was like, give it everything you got, and I was stoked. The anime style cutscenes midway through the fight,
Where you're punching the shit out of each other.
loved it because
Yes.
I was worried when the cutscene started because I kind of expected it after the Endsinger trial because of the transition, but I was worried that it was gonna be where we just kick his ass.
I don't know if
I
you
didn't want
guys
that.
read the buffs as you were getting them and you kept going through the fight and progressing.
I read one of them.
Nope.
But it's the last one is recognizing your limits and choosing to surpass them.
That's pretty interesting.
Nice.
I did not know that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's like you just keep getting up over and over and over again after Xenos like fucking one-shots you. And then at the very end, it's like you recognize that you are over and above your limits and going and choosing to here at the end go further. And
That's pretty
it's so anime and I love it.
It's so we know you like anime. Was that a good cutscene for you? Did you enjoy it?
Oh fuck yes! I think the strongest thing about Endwalker for me and why it's easily the best expansion. Like we weren't sure how they were going to top Shadowbringers, and they did.
Yeah.
They took two characters, all three of us simultaneously agreed at the end of Shadowbringers were fucking just. They weren't like Xenos wasn't living up to what we wanted him to be, and we all wanted Fan Daniel dead, like immediately.
Yeah.
And somehow made
happens.
both of them great characters.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gave a shit about Fan Daniel by the end of it.
Yeah. I am still shocked about that, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's
We
still
all
probably the
viscerally
biggest.
hated him.
Like, exactly. That's probably the biggest thing about Endwalker. How like through storytelling, they made us love a hated, and I do mean hated character. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
It's like, look at this fucking Asahi ripoff.
Yeah. It was
Well, I think that actually did have a big point to it too. Actually, seeing like true Hermes, like
yeah.
that really did, because like I don't know, Asahi just like he looked like a whiny bitch. Like
Yeah.
I'm throwing
It's
it
the
out
bowl
there.
cut,
Like,
man. It's
yeah.
the fucking bowl cut. Who gives a bowl cut to an adult? It's fucked up.
But I mean, yeah, it's like fuck. Who didn't watch like some part of like Dragon Ball or some other anime as
I
a
watched Dragon
kid?
Ball. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, at the end of it,
Pokemon.
you just throw your weapons down and it's just a fist fight between two dudes.
Yeah.
like let's fucking go. Like
Let's brawl it out. That's that's a poetic end. It's like it comes down to just will. It's not strength. It's not technique. It's not what weapons you possess. At that point, it basically was like, who's got more will to win this fight? And obviously, we come out.
That's all Xenos wanted. Like
Right.
that was everything he wanted. He didn't have to cause the end of the world to get that.
But
Yeah.
He
oh,
ahead.
sorry. Just to saying like there, that boiling down to like him just saying like no, like this is what I wanted in the end. Like this is what it boiled down to. It's not like, oh, screw like the entire like nation and whatnot and like everything. He's like, this is what all that work came to. Like, I don't know. That's kind of why I feel like it was a obscure and drawn out kind of redemption arc, but I think it was just.
I think the only part about Xenos' entire character that I feel bad about is that in a sad, tragic kind of way, if he had just actually tried to have been our friend sooner, we could have had dumb fucking fights like that as long as he wanted without any of us dying, right?
Right.
Like,
communication skills, man.
and it's like at the very end when you're both there lying on the ground, dying, like you're both dying. He kind of has a moment to reflect on all that. He's like, I've lived a life that's nothing but trying to find something to make me feel alive, and this is the closest I've ever gotten, and it's nothing but regrets and being tired. And him asking you, is the same, essentially the same thing Heidelin does. Has it all been worth it?
Right.
Has your life been fulfilling? Have you found that thing that I couldn't?
Mm-hmm.
And we did.
We did.
Yep.
And that's what was great.
We have a singular connection with Xenos that he latched onto, and that is just like Xenos. This all started because we just liked fighting things.
Yeah. Well, he has one of the more impactful lines, at least according to Reddit, which was born into this world, bestowed a name, bid to seek out strife and adventure. Was this life a gift or a burden? Did you find fulfillment? Like that, for that to be finished and him not be able to kind of give his answer. We know what it was going to be, but we don't know what it was going to be. Pretty fucking sweet, man. I don't know. That moment was like that climax that I was finally ready for, and just like, cool, I don't have to deal with this guy anymore.
My favorite part about him is up until Endwalker, I saw Xenos as nothing but a psychopath and someone who just wanted to fight for the sake of fighting. And at the end of Endwalker, I finally got to a point where I could say, and another time, in another place, if Xenos had just met us sooner, he could have been like a scion and a friend.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Yeah.
And to that point, like I wholly disagree, D. Like I do hope that there's some sort of like, I don't know, like Force Ghost equivalent, like I'm not saying to bring him back, but
Sure.
like some sort of like remembrance or whatever. But like, I don't know. I really like the impact that like, yeah, there was a whole lot of foreshadowing and yeah, it was really drawn out, but like it was a really like, dare I say, wholesome rivalry,
Right.
aside from all the like,
he caused the end of the world.
Yeah.
Well,
He let Zodiark out of the moon.
Yeah.
was it him or
Yes.
was it
Yes,
actual
it was
or
him.
was
Yes.
it actually
It
Fandaniel,
was definitely
aka
him.
Hermes, being
Nox.
like, I just want
So him.
Medion Bay?
I know you love Xenos, but
No.
you gotta let him go. You
The
gotta let
world
him
will
go.
never
Nox.
know,
It's from the
guys. The world will never,
From
ever,
the
ever
South.
know.
It's from Chicago.
Nox is in denial.
Yeah, it was definitely him. What? Here's a question that was not specifically answered, but was left up for interpretation before we move on. The transporter, Magitech transporter tablet that falls out of the sky. How did it get there?
Hope. I think literally that demi plane we're in, where the sun's coming up, right? It is literally like a demi plane of Dynamis and our hope and our friend's hope. So I think like their fervent prayers and our own desire to live there at the very end, because in a way we had an answer to Xenos's question. We were thinking about it the entire time while we were dying. It was worth it. It was all worth it, and we want to go back home to them.
Nox, you agree?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
in turn, it does. It does bring full circle that it was well worth it. But yeah.
I think that even though it wasn't a sacrifice to get us closer to Medion, I think that was Xenos' last wish for us to be able to go live the rest of our lives knowing that he had met his equal and if not superior, and that his last wish, because it comes up right after he takes his last breath. So there's room for speculation because it's within a like 5 or 6 second window. So I think that was his last wish, but I know a lot of people feel multiple different ways about it. So interesting. Okay, so that is when we get to the credits, and we find ourselves waking up on the Ragnarok on our way back, and whose portion of the hysteric crying breakdown did you find the best?
Oh, all of them. It was
Can't put one on top.
Alize.
Oh
like,
yeah, Has to be.
Alize and Alfino are kind of like head and head there for me, but I feel bad when kids are upset. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, look, every single one of you motherfuckers, judgmental motherfuckers, died in front of me while we were going through Ultima Thule. I don't want to fucking hear it.
No.
How could you do that? Oh, fuck off. How could you?
I love that. I loved her crying and like beating on her chest.
Yeah,
I thought it was
like-
hysterical. Because it shows you that even though it's been everything for the last 5 expansions have been 1 year of elapsed time, it not only shows her growth, but it also still shows you she's not done growing. They're still teenagers. They like their emotion is on their sleeve, and it was. I mean, that's her. That's her character, and it identifies perfectly.
I think all of them were that way. Like every
Yeah.
single one of them was extremely judgmental in that. Like how could you do that? And it's like, oh, what do you mean? How could I do that? That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, and what? So you're. I forget the dialogue options. Is it 2 or 3 options that you get here, where they ask or you get a chance to ask a question. One of them I know is everyone alive?
I asked if everyone was okay, and Graha was immediately
Graha
like,
laid into
"How
us.
fucking dare you ask
loved
us
it.
that?"
I absolutely loved it.
That's what I chose as well.
Yeah, same. And the emotion that Graha's voice actor was able to capture for that was just like you could hear like the voice shake and just like how involved that voice actor was with that character. It just was really fulfilling for me. It was hilarious, you know. You like everyone's just breathing easy, but these guys are still fucking crying at your bedside. Those 3 are such fanboys of us. It's hilarious. Okay, so that gets us. We take the ride back, and I forget who announces to us. I know it's Living Way who's like, "Hey, we're almost here," but someone's like, "Are you ready to?"
Thancred.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, it was either Thancred or Estinian. I just couldn't remember who, but cool cutscene to end it, having everyone celebrate the way they do, and seeing Kryl and Tatsuru running, like little Lalafell running. Square Enix knows what they were fucking doing with that one. That was hilarious. I'm sorry, just the way Lala's fucking run, seeing those two in their fucking full get-ups, hysterical. It was really funny to me. Sorry. I've rewatched that cutscene 4 times. I really enjoyed it. I did find myself asking while it was getting close to credits, I was like, this isn't how they're gonna fucking end it, is it? And I decided to get up and step away from the computer, and I came back 15 minutes later and the credits were still fucking going.
Oh yeah.
Which it was, yeah, I mean, just shows you how many people work on this and how many people love this game and put that much effort into.
Yeah.
But
Stress, how many people love this game? Because like playing through it, you can tell. Like it's
So I gotta ask, during and going through the credits, did you guys see the scene where the Scions are walking by Heidelin, Emmett Selk? Yeah.
I did.
And then you see where it says, "And as the Warrior of Light" in your character's name.
Character's name. Yeah.
yeah, that was
That got me. That was the last cry of the expansion. I was like, "You motherfuckers!"
It was a verbal damn from me. Like I just like sat there watching it scrolling. Like
Well, and Shadowbringers
damn.
gave us that moment in 5.3, and this was that 5.3 style moment where it was just like, whew, I'm done. I'm tearing up thinking about it right now. It's very interesting, it's to evoke that much emotion for something like innocuous at that time. We're just walking past people that we've, basically had to sacrifice what our lives are in order to fulfill kind of a want from them to save the planet. It's just very, very touching and emotional. So then we get into the Rising Stones. I'm pretty sure this is where Alpha Node has his voice acted. Is that right?
Or you mean where he's doing like the letter thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck? Like the disbandment of the Scions. I was like,
it
no,
makes
you
sense.
don't.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It
It
I
does.
don't know, like I'm on the other side. Like I'm still just like, why can't you just say it's a thing, even though you guys are all still doing like your own thing?
I mean, I
Right.
think it's mostly because we're all going to be doing our own thing. Like everyone else has something they want to focus on, and
but
this
what,
also brings in the chance for us to kind of establish new side characters that are there alongside us through our journeys.
but it wasn't ever just like us as like the playable characters, right? And
Right.
like the like main, was it 7 or so? But like there was like literally like the different like army more or less of like, yeah, we're part of the Scions.
Yeah.
Like, so what about them? Like, I mean,
Same
even
thing.
if like we said like, oh, we're just going in hiatus, or like, oh, we're just doing our thing, like we don't need to actually like do anything, but like,
Right.
I don't know, like the secret members of the Scions activate when a fucking new
I mean,
world-ending
that
thing
is what it
happens.
is.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
is exactly what's going
That
to
is
happen.
exactly what it is.
They've got the
Yeah.
link pearl. I mean, because Thancred
Yeah,
makes
that's
the joke
true.
about it. It's like, oh, you gotta keep your link pearl to Estinian, which, Estinian's not a big fan of that, but it's hysterical. Hysterical to hear it. So then after that, we have to talk to each of the Scions.
Oh,
So
Oh.
the talks were good.
yep.
I was a little let down that they weren't voice acted, but I understand how many resources that would have required.
How great was the talk with the Stadium where it's just a back and forth where you're both staring at each other?
Yeah, just like ugh. It's perfect for what it is. I think that they nailed that. The Urianger one hits a nail on the head. He's going to learn from the Loperids, help them kind of be their coordinator, if you will, which is exactly what we kind of expected. I can't remember Thancred's. Not sure what he's going to be doing.
I thought him and Urianger were going to go explore the world.
I think him and Urianger are
he's
doing
with
stuff
Urianger.
together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Y'shtola is going to explore how to travel to other worlds, like
Correct.
she told.
All research.
She's got to go get to the other shards and whatnot. Yep.
She's gonna go be the new like Matoya. Matoya's gonna somehow.
She's
give lessons.
got a Catman to go see.
Yeah, she does. That's the dude in Norvrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, they're about to get it.
Alize and Alfino are going back to Garlemald to keep helping them with what's going on there.
Yep. Graha wants to come on adventures.
But
he's
for the
gonna
time
be in
being, he's
Charlian.
going to be helping Kryl reestablish the Order of Baldessian.
Yeah.
I think he's going to actually, just throwing it out there, early tinfoil hat, I think Graha is going to be like the primary like protagonist leading us into what's coming up next.
I'm going to be disappointed if Graha and Alize don't show up and be like, let's fucking go on an adventure.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that he tries to, by helping Kryl with the Baldessian house, in some way either joins the forum or becomes like a personal assistant for one of them or something. Because the forum's going to be way different now that the end days have been vanquished. So
now they can go back to their original purpose.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we get so much out of that. Like, there's so much to that. I don't know. I'm hyped because
and
now
Taru is going to go and take over Ul'dah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, dude. I think that's why Larry Zor put out his Tataru's evil thing, because now we see where she's headed. She's about to take down Lolarito's empire financially.
The entire time we were worried about Lolarito. No, No.
Yeah.
It's Tartaru.
It's Tataru.
Tartaru is going to take over everything.
She's gonna be the evil queen over all this. That's the next antagonist we deal with, guys.
Nah.
She goes sideways.
Anything Tataru wants, I'm right there helping her. All
I
right?
got her. I got your back. She's hysterical. Who are we missing then?
I think that's it. Kryle, Graha, Y'shtola.
Yeah. We got everyone. And it'll be interesting to see how they piece together everyone's storylines. Because are we going to focus on 2 or 3 and then 6.1, and then 6.2 is these other characters and how they kind of happen simultaneously, or are they going to give us a little bit of everyone all at one time, and we'll progress naturally like that?
I feel like the next patch is actually going to be an introduction of a new character.
Yeah,
and
they have to.
It's going to be something that is going to slowly and steadily lead us into a new adventure with new people.
But I do think it's going to be kind of like the latter of what D was talking about, where like it's going to be kind of like in piecemeal, where it's going to be like 2 or 3 character developments, and then it's going to kind of like lead together in like the final patch content of Endwalker.
Yeah, could be. That's kind of my thought. Is I think how I would want it versus how I think they will do it are 2 different things. I think they'll do a little bit of everyone at once. That seems like the safest route in order to collectively tell everyone's story and not feel like, oh no, we're left out. Mm-hmm. But I also think that they all kind of have a converging path. So I think that there is a possibility in 6.1 we get 2 or 3 of them maybe focusing on Garlemald and the reconstruction of that whole thing. And then 6.2 comes in, Thancred and Urianger are helping the Loporrits fucking rebuild Garlemald. Just weird shit like that,
yeah.
I think could definitely be a fun way to go about it. But also I could see the fan backlash being like, what the fuck, man? We didn't see any of these.
I think I'm going to disagree with both of you. I'm going wide tinfoil hat here.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely going to see stuff going on in all of these places, but I think it's going to mostly do with a new character introduction, and we're not going to do hardly anything with the other Scions.
New character introduction or reintroduction of a popular character that we all assume could take over Garlemald.
One or the other. Talking about guys.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely think because we had this big outing as like the Scions splitting ways, it would feel kind of silly in a way to immediately bring people back together where we're like, I'm going to go help Alphino and Alize, or I'm going to go chill with Estinian or whatever. I think it's very much going to be Warrior of Light going and doing a thing by himself or themselves and meeting new people.
New characters. Yeah.
Well,
that'd be fun.
I kind of want to jump in to say, like I think it's a little bit of both. Like I think they're actually going to set the groundwork to lead into like Dee's theory, where it is going to actually kind of bring everybody back together, right?
But piecemeal how they bring
exactly. But they break it down to actually be like, oh well, shit, you ran into these guys and you're dealing with this. Cool, let's run together. Blah 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 blah. Right? But then all of a sudden, you like mini group style determine that this is like a big deal and this is like, oh, this is Scion level shit right now,
right?
And then then it does kind of come down to like, okay, you're figuring out more shit and you lead into tying back to the group with the other people, but not just other like, or not just throughout like one patch segment, throughout the rest of like the 6.1 to 6.5 or however many they're going to go with Endwalker.
Yeah. Well, I hope whichever direction they go, they just do what they have been doing. I think the recipe for success is very evident that they can not only meet our expectations but exceed. I mean, it doesn't blow Shadowbringers out of the water, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I think it is the most we wanted, everything we wanted, which is the fulfillment, a good fulfillment of a story 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I can't wait because we don't know, and I know that he's kind of giving a roadmap here, Yoshi P, that is. So we'll see how that turns out. But I'm pretty pumped. I think we just have so many different avenues that we can take. It's pretty pumped, or pretty interesting, honestly. I don't know. I haven't been this excited about a game that I literally we don't know about. There's no PTR. There's like they don't talk about this shit. There's no spoilers. Like this is it's very foreign to me, I guess is the way to verbalize it.
And I dig that. I dig that there's no PTR or testing or any of that.
Yeah, it shows that like the over in WoW when they've already just tested all that shit on the PTR. Like obviously some stuff changes, but they already have an inclination on the fight. Like watching, I don't know if you guys watch the World First Race at all, but man, like watching how they meticulously think things out and like accordingly act and how quickly it happens, pretty interesting. Very very. You get to see some real deep thinkers, and I like it. It's really fun. I actually think this is where we should end our podcast for today. I think in the next one, we're going to talk about kind of the direction we all think it could go, what potential next dungeons can be coming up, as well as how the raid story is going and what we all think of it. So that's going to wrap us up wherever you watch us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching us. Give us that like. Dislike it if you don't like it. Leave a comment down below. If you feel inclined, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate you very much. I'm going to take us out of here for Best in Slot Radio. I'm DTG.
I'm Ez.
And I'm Nox.
We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Take care.
Peace.